abolition here in the United States. And for this presentation, I'm kind of just going to show how I'm applying those concepts to the prison industrial complex. So I want to start off by saying that the policing institution in the United States has historically played a role of the recruiters for the larger system. They serve to protect, preserve, and enforce ideologies of white supremacy. You could argue that they function in a manner that ensures that there exists a disciplined labor pool. And I really want to emphasize the fact that I'm not saying that this is an individualized problem. This is a systemic oppression that I'm talking about. So I'm not saying all police officers are bad people. That's not this at all. So I think to really get the bigger picture, you need to know where it originated to see how we got to where we are. And so the first form of policing in the United States was slave patrols. They were developed to enforce the laws regarding slaves, obviously. The use of patrols to capture runaway slaves was one of the precursors of formal police forces. Excuse me, sorry, I have a cold, guys, I'm sorry. So following the abolishment of slavery, those in power needed to develop a system to protect their social standings. And if you look at the 13th Amendment, there is a loophole. So it says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, is basically legal. So the way to get around that is to racialize laws and policies. So following the 13th Amendment, policies were designed in a manner that assigned color to crime. So you started off with black codes that then turned into Jim Crow laws, and then the war on drugs, which was actually launched during a period when drug usage was going down. So that's just a fact. So these policies are then enforced by the policing institution through means of racialized practices, and these are just a few. Consistent patrolling of the poor and ethnic areas, stereotyping and racial profiling. Again, I want to emphasize that this is a systemic problem that cannot be fully fixed by this bad apple narrative. Analyzing isolated events mystifies the reality of the oppression that's really taking place. And so Alex asked us to maybe offer some alternatives. Oh, actually, sorry. This quote kind of really drives home what I'm trying to get at. This is by James Baldwin, and he's talking about the police presence in poor and ethnic areas. So he's saying that their very presence is an insult, and it would be even if they spent their entire day feeding gumdrops to children. They represent the force of the white world, and that world's real intentions are simply for that world's criminal profit and ease to keep the black man corralled up here in this place. So, alternatives. Iceland's policing model is actually, in my opinion, a very decent one. They had their first police killing of a citizen actually ever in 2013. And if you look at it, it is mostly because a large majority of the patrolling officers are not allowed to carry weapons. And during an interview when they asked the higher authorities why that is, they said because it's provoking and it just leads to more problems. Mind you that the citizens are still allowed to carry their own weapons. So just shows you there are better ways to do this. There's also community-oriented programs. When I suggest the notion of police abolition, I get a lot of questions about domestic violence. And again, there are other ways. There's an intervention group, there's Women Against Rape, there's an Insight program, and these are systems of support for domestic violence in safe places. Also another interview, I'm sorry I didn't put up the quotes, but the members of these groups who are also victims of domestic violence said that they have had more success with these groups than they had calling the police. So just all I'm asking is that you guys sort of step out of your comfort zone and imagine a life without our current institution, and maybe we can find out a better way, because these are people's lives that are. So thank you.